Hi, Junior with today's thought. Before we get to today's thought, though, actually three housekeeping items. The first one is thanks to some recent subscribers that I got in the last few days. Thank you for subscribing. So that's item number one. Item number two, I reported 2 or 3 vlogs ago that Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer had told the Biden campaign that Michigan was unwinnable. Now, this was not reporting by me. I reported what the media were saying, or at least several media outlets were saying. So I reported that, but I got a comment, and the commenter said that she has since denied that that ever happened, that she did not say that. She's saying did not tell the campaign that now that Michigan is unwinnable. Now, on the one side of the ledger, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not true. This was obviously a comment she made in private, and now that it's come out and well, if it happened and was made public, that it would be natural for her to deny it, to not embarrass or hurt the campaign, the Biden campaign. But nevertheless, this commenter said that she did deny it. It's not worth my time to go on the internet and look it up and compare media reports. So I'm just passing that along. You can go, it shouldn't be that hard to go on Google and research for yourself, see if she said that, what the circumstances were, the credibility of the source, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm just putting that out there. So you have both sides of the story. Reported that she said that Michigan is unwinnable and she's denying it. And then I report, you decide, go make up your own mind. Now, that takes us to the last item. And the last item is something that, well, I'm recording this on Friday and you're seeing this on Monday. And because of the 2-day interval, I just got some breaking news, but it won't be breaking by the time you're seeing this video, so I didn't cover it. Otherwise, it would have been the subject. It would have been the whole subject of today's thought, because, well, I hope that the media reported this. Now, they may not have, and then it would still be new news. Anyways, what I just read, this is from the Jerusalem Post, that Hamas has caved on the hostage deal. They caved on the key demand that they were making, which was that Israel had to agree to end the war if she wanted any more hostages released. So I just read this. It came over the internet literally moments ago, and we'll have to see how it pans out. If this turns out to be confirmed by Monday, then on Monday I will record a video and I'll give you a full update on it. But it looks like they are willing to release hostages, and it's supposed to be a 3-day deal, and there's supposed to be 42 days, I think, for the first phase, 33 hostages to be released. And if I were Israel, I would demand that they be all living hostages, because there's, I think, 120 hostages still being held, but Israel is estimating that only 50 are alive, unfortunately. So by insisting on living hostages, at least they would get most of the hostages back, and I would assume that they would all be civilians. So especially, they have babies there, toddlers, little 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds. They have child hostages. That's how depraved the Hamas is. But anyways, they had been insisting that they would not discuss the release of any hostages unless Israel agreed to end the war, withdraw completely from the Gaza Strip. That's now, according to what I just read, Jerusalem Post is pretty reliable. It's in English, by the way, if you want to read it yourself, jpost.com. But you can, which is good if you want to follow what's going on in the Middle East. You're better off reading the Israelis' papers. So anyways, there would be 3 phases. The first phase would be 42 days, and what originally was that Israel had to agree to end the war, and then it would just be discussing details. That's now out of the way. That Israel would agree to discuss ending the war, which is a major difference. Discuss ending the war, but they would not agree to end the war. So they would talk for 42 days, and I'm sure the Israeli soldiers could use a break. So they get a little break, a little rest. And then it would depend, first of all, Hamas has to keep its word and release as many hostages as they agreed to release during that 42-day period. Otherwise, that deal would be off. So then they would, during that time, they would discuss, negotiate ending the war. And Israel simply would say, no, we're not going to. Well, we will end the war if you lay down your arms and leave Gaza. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And it all depends really on Yahya Sinwar, who is the other Hamas leaders. They're in comfy hotels in Gitter, so they really don't have any influence on the ground except through Sinwar, who is the one who is there, and he would have to he would have to implement the deal. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, that's all the housekeeping. Now to today's thought, which actually may turn out being shorter than the housekeeping that I just went through. But there's been, as others have noted, there's been a major, I would say, transformation of the Trump campaign and Trump himself compared to, 2020 and 2016 for sure, where he would say, crooked Hillary and in 2020, crooked Joe, and he was constantly on Twitter and making these bombastic statements, and there's been a complete contrast. Even the liberal media are noticing that we have now in 2024 a very disciplined campaign. Trump is being very quiet. He seems to be following Napoleon's advice. This would be based on that horrible debate, which I'll talk about the implications, another implication in a minute. But what Napoleon said was, never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. That, in a way, it was the right thing to do for the Democrats to hold that debate so early, because if they'd held it when they usually hold it, it would be too late to replace him. That was the whole purpose, I guess. Now they're having a whole bunch of trouble trying to replace him and deciding if they can, with whom to replace him with. And that's, they got a real problem there. And that's my point. They are really, Van Jones was saying that he's one of these rhino milquetoast Republicans. And he was saying that the Democrats are putting up a brave face, but behind the scenes they are really panicking. And the point for Trump is, as he's been doing, don't say anything. Don't rub it in. Don't try to capitalize on it. Just be quiet and let the enemy make a mistake. Don't say anything, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Either he will be the candidate, or Biden will, or he will not be. And at the end of the day, Republicans, Trump have no control over that anyhow. So best to keep quiet. Now, he did make a very insulting comment, but it was on a golf course, and it was meant to be, I understand, private, but it got recorded and leaked. So I'll give, since we're talking about golf, I'll give Trump a mulligan on that one. But a big mistake that Trump just made, I think, is he came out and he challenged Biden to a debate with no conditions, anywhere, anytime. And I think that's a mistake. As I said, he should not say anything. Number one, anything can happen. You think as others have said, there's a website, Instapundit, and they say that whenever they report something that's helpful to the Republicans and potentially harmful to the Democrats, they always start with the headline, "Don't get cocky." And that's what I'm saying. Don't get cocky. Don't get overconfident. Don't challenge. Why? You've got this horrible experience. You have a debate. If Biden keeps his word to stay in the race, till the end. Then there's another one coming on September 10th. And Trump, if he's smart, he should just leave it. He should just leave it at that. Just don't say anything. Well, let me take that back. When I don't mean don't say anything. What I mean is don't say anything about Biden. What he should say a lot about, what he should focus about. The only thing he should talk about is the future, what he will do if he's reelected. He already talked about forgiving tips, forgiving, waiters' tips and things like that. Not taxing the tips. I'm sorry, that's what I meant. And that's one plan. He has he's talking about mass deportations of all these unlawful aliens, things like that, resuming the increased drilling, drill baby drill, to bring down gas prices, number one. Number two, it's not just gas, by the way. We have so many, literally hundreds, if not thousands of products, actually, plastics and things that are made from petroleum. So it helps everybody to bring down gas prices. But that's what he should talk about. Just be Ronald Reagan. Don't be Trump. Be Reagan. Be optimistic. Focus on the future. That's what you should talk about. Maybe occasionally some digs at Joe Biden, but digs at him as Democrat, as his policies, as failures of his policies. If you have to do that, then you can go there, but not about his senility, his dementia, his physical frailty. That's no longer necessary. He may have had to do that before, or may have been justified before, but now, after everybody, the media have been covering for him. Now they're trying to backtrack and cover their rear ends, because in that debate for 90 minutes, we saw, the whole world saw the real Joe Biden, and there is no way, in my opinion, there's no way to make us unsee it or forget it. George Stephanopoulos, they moved. This shows you how partisan the media is, or at least ABC, or at least George Stephanopoulos. They were teasing an interview with Joe Biden to be aired on Sunday, the day before you're seeing this. And they were going to, starting Friday, tease little excerpts, little tidbits to give you a preview of coming attractions to get you to watch. But they've dispensed with the tidbits, and they are moving up the full interview to Friday at 8:00, I believe, prime time. They're moving it to Friday and prime time. So why would they be doing that? There's only one reason: to help Joe Biden, to rehabilitate Joe Biden. The aftermath of this debate that happened is causing major damage. They want to try to repair the damage as quickly as possible. That is not the job of ABC. Certainly not the news section. Or this is not, I guess you'd call it the op-ed section, because what Stephanopoulos does is it's really opinion, and which is fair. I mean, it's supposed to be opinion. That's what he does. This a Sunday talk show. It's not supposed to be objective, straight news, but it's obviously being done to help Joe Biden. And what matters to me, would this help or not? There's only one way that interview will help Joe Biden, in my opinion. You'll have an idea by the time you're seeing this video on Monday. But I'm telling you, on Friday, my opinion is that there's only way this helps Joe Biden, and that is if that entire interview is unedited. If they have any cutaways to Stefan, they'll ask a question to Joe, just the camera only on Stephanopoulos as he asks a question, and then you shoot to, you cut to Joe Biden answering the question. Then in the middle of the question, you cut to George Stephanopoulos listening to the answer. Well, in that cut, if there was a long hesitation and misspeaking and all the things that we saw in that debate, well, that's where you could cut it out, and you could make Biden seemed very fluid, more fluid than he is, it would be like the transcript of the interview, the questioning by Robert Hur, the special counsel. That's why they don't want to release the audio tape, because you would actually hear all these pauses and these misspeakings. You would hear all that on an audio tape. So that's why. So it's the same thing either way. But for that to matter, the whole thing has to be uncut, just as or it has to be live. But I understand it was already recorded, so you don't have that option anymore. That was Biden's problem, that in the debate it was live, it was uncut. Maybe you would cut to a moderator or cut from one candidate to the other, or the most damaging thing was to show the split screen. You would have these cuts, but if it's happening live, then you know it's not edited. You know you can't cut out pieces of what the candidate, either candidate is saying, but you would not have that opportunity in a, you would have that opportunity to edit out the bad parts in a pre-recorded interview. So at least for me, if there are any edits in that interview, I would say they're just trying. We already know that ABC moved the interview, the broadcast up from Sunday to Friday to help Joe Biden. So it's conceivable, if not perfectly obvious, that they would edit the interview itself to help Joe Biden. Well, that's it. That's my thought for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. Comments are always welcome below the video in the comments section. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.